Jewish heritage means a celebration of our community in our wonderful diversity, in the richness of our backgrounds, in our unity as one people. It means a celebration of our ancestors, our culture, our religion, and our future.
I'm Benesch. I grew up in I was born in San Francisco. Grew up in 37th Avenue in the Sunset District, and as a kid, we went to went to the zoo and the Fleischacker, the swimming pool, and the Sutro, and and wore Levi Strauss jeans. But as a kid, I didn't realize all the stuff had Jewish connections. I just thought they were prominent people that had done very well in business. I went to Temple Emanu-El and went there from kindergarten all the way through confirmation class, and was always just really impressed with the beautiful building. And it took me a while before I learned more about Jewish history in the area and what their contributions to the gold rush in the state, as well as the Bay Area.
To me, for me, Judaism imparts so much of my life, everything I am, everything I've done, everything I plan to be. I'm very culturally Jewish, I'm not very religious, but it's informed so much of my belief system that it's part of me. And San Francisco, as the final frontier before you get to the ocean, it was always a special place for Jews. We had 2 Jewish mayors here before 1900, and so it was always very good to the Jews, and it's been good to me, so here we are.
They're still doing cartwheels in the room over there. One of the girls, there she is. She said to me, "Can we do cartwheels?" And I said, "Has anyone told you you can't?" Thank you everyone for coming. My name is Michael Sweet. I serve on the board of the Jewish Community Relations Council. I'm also a member of the San Francisco Human Rights Commission. I'd like to welcome you all to our second celebration of Jewish heritage here at San Francisco City Hall. Nick Josefowitz and I have the privilege of being a master of ceremony for this event and walking us through this evening. We're waiting on the mayor, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So Supervisor Wiener is not going to go far away. We'll kind of change the order of things, as sometimes happens here at City Hall. Before we do that, I want to take a moment to introduce a few other people who are here to join us this evening. In addition to the mayor who will be with us momentarily, and Supervisor Wiener, Supervisor Aaron Peskin, District Attorney George Gascon, Consul General of Israel Andy David, Teresa Sparks, who is the Executive Director of the San Francisco Human Rights Commission, and whose commission and our work at the commission is going to play an integral role in what we're doing here. And after the event tonight, you can hear about this a little bit later about the photography project that's over here in this light court. The Northern California Shomrim, the Jewish Police Officers Association, and a number of additional current and former Jewish elected officials, including Roberta Achtenberg, Amy Bachrach, Bevan Duffy, Matt Haney, Leslie Katz, Quentin Kopp, Mark Leno, Raphael Mandelman, Carol Migden, and Jill Wins.
Hello, my name is Nick Josefowitz. I'm on the board of directors of ARC, representing about a third of San Francisco, and I'm also on the board of directors of JCRC. I love hearing sometimes these lists of names of Jewish elected officials. Some of the time I'm like, really? That guy's Jewish? But one guy who you never think that about when the lists are read out is Supervisor Scott Wiener. His towering legislative achievements on the Board of Supervisors and his unending commitment to our city, to our Jewish community, and to the values of tolerance and freedom that our community holds so dear has made him very beloved. And I recently had twins, and it's given me a new perspective on Scott, because I'm now convinced that Scott has an identical twin. Because there's just no other way that he could be at as many events or be working as hard as he does if he's just one person. And I remember growing up that one of the values that my parents always taught me was integral to being Jewish was hard work, and I think Scott represents that almost more than anybody else in this room. So it is my distinct honor to invite Supervisor Scott Wiener up to the podium.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our second annual Jewish Heritage Celebration in City Hall, and welcome to the People's House. It was long overdue to have this annual celebration to really allow the Jewish community and our allies to come together and to celebrate our accomplishments as a community and to make very clear that we're here and that this community really matters to the fabric of this city. When I was a kid, we moved to an area in rural New Jersey where there was no synagogue. And my parents, along with about 15 other families, they sort of found each other and they formed a congregation. They didn't have a building, so there was a local Lutheran church that was kind enough to loan us their sanctuary and put a blanket over the cross when we were there. But over time, of course, we realized we needed a place of our own and ultimately built a synagogue. And the same is true in public life. It is great to have allies and to have other people who are giving you space, and our allies are amazing. But we also have to make sure that we as a community are promoting our own in business, in politics, in education, and that we are promoting Jewish leadership and visible Jewish leadership. We know in San Francisco it's not always easy. We know some of the challenges that we have in terms of BDS and other really challenges to the heart of our community. And so we have to stick together and keep being visible and showing the world the beauty of this community, the thousands of years of survival and thriving. And I'm just so proud to be a member of this community. Until a few months ago, I was the only Jewish elected official in this building. And it's great to have Supervisor Peskin with us and to be able to sometimes tag team on some of these issues. And so Supervisor Peskin, welcome to our celebration. I look forward to working with you in years to come. And thank you to everyone who made tonight possible, including the Jewish Community Relations Council, which continues to be a powerful voice in civic life for the Jewish community in San Francisco and the Bay Area. And with that, I would like to bring up our wonderful youth choir from Temple Emanu-El to come and show us some true beauty. Come on out.
Like San Francisco, the Jewish community is incredibly diverse. We have Jewish families who've been here since before San Francisco was called San Francisco, and we have Jewish families who've come recently. We have Jews who've come here to escape persecution. We've had Jews who've come here to seek freedom and opportunity. I myself have recently arrived from London. JCRC's executive director, Doug Kahn, has been here for generations. Jews come in all sizes. Some are taller, some are small. Jews come in all colors. And at JCRC, we're, like so many of the Jewish institutions, we are really focused on embracing the entire diversity of the Jewish community in San Francisco. And it's something that I'm incredibly proud of, and that we at JCRC strive to find consensus amongst so many different strands of our community, because we all fundamentally hold similar values and have similar interests. So it's my great honor to introduce a Jew from Latin America, Myrna Melgar, who sits on the Building Inspection Commission. So watch out, all of you, if you haven't had your building inspected recently. And is a terrific leader within the Jewish community, and it's my great honor to invite you up here.
Thank you. I'm one of the shorter people, shorter to Supervisor Wiener for sure. My name is Myrna Melgar, and I'm the Vice President of the Building Inspection Commission and the President of the Commission's Board of Appeals. I am also one of the hundreds of thousands of Latin American Jews who live in the U.S. today. A recent survey of U.S. Latin American Jews conducted by Latino Decisions on behalf of the American Jewish Committee found that we are as diverse as the countries from which we hail. We are bilingual in Spanish, Portuguese, and English, and multicultural by definition and necessity. We are Sephardic, Ashkenazi, Mizrahi, and other in our origins. My Ashkenazi Jewish ancestors immigrated to El Salvador at the turn of the century, joining a small but established Jewish community. And like small Jewish communities elsewhere in the diaspora, they established businesses, built a community life, including a synagogue and institutions to support the community's spiritual and practical needs. Latin American and Caribbean countries have all well-established active Jewish communities for centuries. And yet, my own experience here in America and the experience of other Latin American Jews is that we often still feel like outsiders. I have often met folks who find my dual identities as Latina and Jewish incompatible. And yet I, myself, stand very firmly in both identities. My generation has grown up in a global, interconnected, multi-ethnic world, and our children even more so. So how do we fulfill the call to repair the world in this new modern reality? And I would propose that the only way to preserve our unity and identity is precisely to celebrate the diversity and include all the members of the tribe. I will quote the vision statement of the good folks at Bechol Lashon, which says, "Imagine a new global Judaism that transcends differences in geography, ethnicity, class, race, spiritual belief, practices. Discussions about who is a real Jew will be replaced by the celebration of the rich multidimensional character of the Jewish people. The different perspectives, knowledge, experience, and abilities of all of us make us stronger and more able to preserve the community and adapt to solving modern problems. The voices of Sephardic, Mizrahi, Ashkenazi, Ethiopian Jews, Latin American Jews, Middle Eastern, European, Malabar Jews, Jews by marriage, adopted Jews, Jewish children of interfaith marriages, and Jews by choice can all contribute to this vibrant global community of Jews and to building our local San Francisco Jewish community and working to repair the world, starting at the local level. All of these voices are represented in our wonderful San Francisco Jewish community. And as a testament to the diversity of San Francisco, I can tell you that we even have progressive Jews and moderate Jews. I kid you not, here in San Francisco. As a public servant who has worked on issues of affordable housing and community development most of my career, I can attest that we have so much talent here in San Francisco. Jews represented in our legislative team, Supervisor Peskin and Wiener. We have Amy Baccarat here on our community college board, and people working and putting their talents to repairing the world. Our newest co-bazaar, Jeff Kaczynski, is one of the most optimistic and hardworking people I've ever known. All of these things make the city great. And we will need our community's talents and diversity in solving our problems in this complicated, diverse, multi-ethnic, rich city. And we will need them to solve the modern threats. We are now looking at a presidential candidate who has opened the floodgates to hatred, intolerance, violence in a way that is eerily familiar to us. Let's be clear that these attacks against immigrants, against women, against Muslims, against Mexicans, against LGBT people and trans people, against Jews are attacks that we must be the first ones to stand up against, because we know how fascism starts. Drawing on our diversity and talents, we will stand up to hate and continue to repair the world. Shalom Aleichem. It is my great pleasure to introduce one of our best, come on up. Perhaps the mayor's here. Thank you.
Thank you, Myrna, and thanks for being flexible. I wanted, before we introduce the mayor, I want to take a moment to remind everyone who brought us here. This event is sponsored by the City and County of San Francisco, the Jewish Community Relations Council, as you've heard, and also the Jewish Community Federation. And I want to make sure to acknowledge the president of the Jewish Community Federation, Tom Kasten, who's here, as well as its executive director, CEO, Danny Grossman. Support, so much of what happens in the Jewish community, like events like today, couldn't happen, and the hard work that organizations like JCRC do wouldn't happen, and for that we're all very grateful. And I want to now introduce someone who's known to all of you and known a little bit better to me after I had the opportunity to travel to Israel on the San Francisco Haifa Sister City delegation last month. We had a great trip. A number of leaders from the city were there, as well as from the Jewish community, as well as people from City Hall and the mayor's staff. And I have to tell you that despite the fact that our time on the ground was very short, that every day was struggling with jet lag and the meetings and the names and the bus rides where we were going. We were well represented, very well represented, by our leader, who was thoughtful, who was engaged in meetings with political officials and community leaders, and even joined us at 5:30 in the morning, thanks to Bob Tandler, who I saw over here a few minutes ago, who arranged for us to be able to watch the Warriors win their 73rd game when we were in Jerusalem in a hotel conference room. Now, I have to say, after that happened, later in the day we went to the hotel, and I jokingly said, well, we don't need to write a note about the Warriors, that'll be fine. But, the beauty of technology, we've sent a text, and someone's going to take care of that, so hopefully tomorrow will go a little bit better. And with that, I would like to introduce Mayor Edwin M, who's a great friend of Israel, a great friend of this community, and who represents us so well there in Israel.
Thank you, Michael, for that introduction. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our San Francisco People's Palace. I want to say thank you again to Supervisor Peskin and Supervisor Wiener for being such great supervisors to work with. But I also want to follow up with what Michael said. This trip was transformative for me. We had a chance to not just connect up as officials, but through the great work of Rabbi Khan and of our Consul General Andy Davis here tonight as well, and the preparation work that went in, I got to view a lot of things in that short period of time. But as you would, I think, easily imagine, going to Haifa, and then to Tel Aviv, and then to Ramallah, and then to Jerusalem, all in 5 days. The lasting thing that I have is what I think always happens every single day in San Francisco, is that the people that you meet and their experience and what they're saying, how they're resolving issues, the spirit of the people of Israel is what I really wanted to get a strong feel of. And everywhere we went, people were innovative, they were problem solving. Yes, there was a recognition of historic differences, but also of unprecedented efforts to resolve things. And you could just feel it from the young kids to the families, to the people in uniform and the people not in uniform, to the elected officials. I had many great moments. One of the funnest moments was giving an autographed basketball signed by every member of the Warriors to President Reinin. That was a moment because he loves basketball. So that was a good part. I would also share with you that for a personal, fun part, being able to go to the Golan Heights and taste a little bit of the country's wine at the same time, that was pretty fascinating. And that kind of reminds us of where we are here in the Bay Area and what we're doing. But ultimately, to appreciate, as I read through a lot of the materials before, during, and after the trip, as I was engaged with the university people there, as well as voices from different perspectives, I appreciated the people and what they're doing and how they're living. This is an important aspect of, I think, someone as I am the mayor of this great diverse city of San Francisco to appreciate. Our Jewish people of San Francisco and the Bay Area, you have a precious history to respect. You also have a diversity of ethnicities that you have grown up in, just as we have in the Bay Area. And that is why we say constantly, all of our elected officials know this very well, that diversity is the strength of San Francisco. And we can feel that power when we go to other countries like Israel and see it directly. So thank you to the JCRC, to the Federation for preparing the trip, with the Consul General's office, and with the tremendous Haifa Sister City group led by Arthur Wachtel, and wonderful people that supported him and his efforts and me along the trip. But I ultimately want to say thank you to the Jewish people of the entire San Francisco Bay Area, because your participation, not only just in the heritage celebrations that we have here, but on a daily basis, you're helping me with whole communities. I know when I go to Jewish nonprofits, they're serving Asians, they're serving African Americans, they're serving all different ethnicities because of their spirit that they have in making the world better. And you're contributing, you're just making a part of our San Francisco to be the strength that it is. And so my message tonight is, let's keep celebrating our heritages. Let's keep making sure that we reach out to different ethnic groups. During these times, when we do have some differences of opinion as how to approach work with our police department, building the trust, working with the district attorney. I know George is here tonight. Thank you very much. I'm working with our acting chief, Tony Chaplin. Give him your support here tonight. He's going to work very hard to earn everybody's respect. All closely with me, we all will require the need to work together, to have less barriers, to find areas of collaboration. And the reason why we're going to do this successfully is because I'm preaching to the choir when I'm standing here before the very people who know about challenges and can overcome them with an intense collaboration that the city needs. Thank you very much for your celebration, and I look forward to working with everyone here in this room and with all the different elected officials from City College to our Board of Education to our Interfaith Council and I want to give a great, wonderful send-off for Rabbi Doug Kahn as he approaches the magical date of retirement. Celebrate and let's honor our heritage. Let's also look forward to the days we all get to work even closer together. Thank you very much.
I'm rather intimidated by our next speaker. It's not because he seems to manage to win elections at a rather impressive clip. It's not because he has a mastery of the laws of this city and this state that is sort of rather unsurpassed. It's not because he's been a fighter for the downtrodden and the disadvantaged that it's so easy to overlook amidst all the success in our city. It's because he speaks Hebrew. And that's something that I've always wished I could do. So it's my great honor to introduce someone who has stood by our community and our community's institutions and upheld our interests and our values, Supervisor Aaron Peskin.
Shalom, Chavarim. So what Nick didn't tell you is that the only reason I speak Hebrew is that I speak the Hebrew of a 4-year-old because I lived in Tel Aviv for 1 year at the age of 4. So I will not speak Hebrew to you because those of you who really speak Hebrew, Consul General, will be embarrassed. This may be the second Jewish Heritage Month, Judge Cobb. But this building and this city and the values of this city are inextricably linked with the Jewish community and inextricably linked with Jewish values. From the days of Mayor Adolf Sutro to the days of Mayor Dianne Feinstein to the days of Supervisor Harvey Milk, those values are Jewish values. Those values have become known as San Francisco values. Those are the values that we champion relative to income inequality. Those are the values that the Jewish community has championed relative to civil rights, from the civil rights era in the South to the civil rights era today in San Francisco. Those are the values that Supervisor Cobb's colleague Harvey Milk championed in the day. Those are the values that Dianne Feinstein championed when rent control was enacted in the city and county of San Francisco. And think about the philanthropic values that the San Francisco Jewish community has had, embodied, yes, by people like Adolf Sutro, but also leaders like Warren Hellman and Don Fisher. So I want to join my colleague, Supervisor Scott Wiener, all of the elected officials, our Mayor Ed Lee, in saying, let us all work together to continue to have mitzvot that come from City Hall and emanate from the Jewish community of San Francisco. Toda rabah.
Thank you, Supervisor Peskin. Good
Good evening. I'm Dan Safier, Chair of the Endowment Committee and Director at the San Francisco Jewish Community Federation and Endowment Fund. I'm honored to be here with Mayor Lee, Supervisor Peskin, Supervisor Wiener, our friends at JCRC, and so many proud San Franciscans for this second annual Jewish Heritage Celebration. For more than 150 years, Jews have lived in the Bay Area and contributed deeply to the positive evolution of this very unique San Francisco community, which has, from the outset, celebrated diversity, innovation, and the high-minded values required to build a shared and a just community. The Federation is our Jewish community's central convener, planner, and funder. Our ongoing mission is to build a vibrant and caring Jewish community that supports both the Jewish and the general community, and is a force for good here in San Francisco, the Bay Area, Israel, and around the world. Our impact in San Francisco can be seen in social services, community relations, healthcare, parks and rec, arts and culture, housing and education, just to name a few. And our work includes, importantly, caring for the most vulnerable people, strengthening community by supporting pluralism, equality, and democracy here at home and in Israel, and sharing our unique traditions, learnings, and history that define the Jewish people. I was fortunate to recently join the mayor and many other community leaders on that trip that Michael mentioned in Israel, where we had a genuine and heartfelt cultural exchange between human beings committed to improving the lives of their fellow human beings. And this is a shared universal truth among us, that we all want to heal, build, connect, and support in Israel and San Francisco, around the Bay Area, and we want to ensure that everyone is welcome, lifted up, and treated with equality and dignity. I know that Mayor Lee was struck by the many similarities between the people of San Francisco and Israel. We talked about this, including the enlightened and forward-thinking social justice values that we cherish so closely here in San Francisco, and we're so proudly on display in Israel. Mayor Lee, our community is grateful that you took the time to strengthen the sister city connection with Haifa, to connect with our people. We hope that you your personal relationship with our beloved homeland for many years to come. We're very fortunate, as many have said, to have the mayor, our supervisors, and so many other dedicated friends in public service here in San Francisco and the state of California. Friends who stand with us and who we stand with through good times and the more challenging times. Friends who share our core values of being in service to others and tikkun olam, working to repair the world. May our friendship and our partnership continue always. We're also grateful for the partnerships our community has with our local governments to eradicate xenophobia in all of its forms, including anti-Semitism. It's now my privilege to introduce Elana Reinin and Ed Mamary, who spearheaded a PhotoVoice project on Bay Area Jewish life with the San Francisco Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
On behalf of the PhotoVoice team, Elana Reinin, Stephen DeVerde, Jessica Hessian, and Marshall Platt, I'd like to welcome you to the PhotoVoice exhibit in the North Light Court. And thank you to Mayor Lee's office, the Jewish Community Relations Council, and the Jewish Community Federation and Endowment for this evening's event. And I especially want to thank Teresa Sparks and the San Francisco Human Rights Commission for selecting PhotoVoice, a community-based participatory research method, to help address anti-Semitism in the San Francisco Bay Area. Also, a very special thank you to our advisory group. A key aim of this project is to provide a venue for participants to communicate issues that are very important to them, to policymakers, educators, health workers, and the community at large. Our project participants did this by taking photographs and and sharing their life stories through narrative. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Elana Reinin, the project lead. I am grateful that this project provided me with an opportunity to actually work with a very dear friend. But I didn't select Elana to work on this project because she's my friend. I elected to select Elana because she is a talented and gifted group facilitator and actually spearheaded and led the journey by which the participants were able to share their life stories, stories that are moving and stories that are insightful. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I want you to know that Dr. Mamary has been the driving force behind the success of this project and has worked tirelessly and with the greatest of integrity to assure its success. I am so fortunate to have worked with you, Ed. The power of PhotoVoice is in its reverence for the voices and perspectives of project participants. It brings alive their experiences, thoughts, and feelings, and gives us, the viewer, a unique opportunity to cross over the bridge into their world. As we do so, we are able to catch a glimpse of insight, a sense of understanding, and ultimately an aha moment of connection. We owe much gratitude and appreciation to our 7 wonderful participants who will only be known here by their first names: Isaac, Joan, Joshua, Richard, Sarah, Scott, and Sonia. They met together over the course of 4 months, sharing stories, receiving photography training, and opening their hearts to dig deep into their Jewish experiences. The exhibit you'll see here this evening reflects their groundbreaking work. Please join me in thanking them. Tonight we invite you to explore how this thoughtful group of people has wrestled with and responded to prejudice, discrimination, and questions of belonging and identity with strength and resilience. As you walk through the exhibit, please step into their shoes and take a moment to reflect and to ask yourselves, what am I willing to do to better understand others? What will it take for me to connect more meaningfully with others? And how will I make that happen? So this is your call to action. At the end of the exhibit, you will find a poster board with these 3 questions written on it and some Post-its. Please take a moment to write down your commitment and to share it on the board. We look forward to learning from you tonight as well. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Hadara Stanton. I am President of the Board of Directors of the Jewish Community Relations Council, the JCRC. So I was outside City Hall the other day, and I heard a child ask his mother, "What is this building?" And since I work across the street, my immediate thought was, well, it's a place you go to either get married or hold a protest. But since then, I've been reflecting on the question and thinking about how important it is that we are here tonight for this celebration. This is the place where democracy in San Francisco happens, where our representatives speak for us, where they come to consensus, and where they tackle tough issues that impact us all in an effort to create the best for all of us now and for the future, and in a uniquely San Francisco way, which is just what JCRC does for our community, our Jewish community, and our broader community. Our vision is the pursuit of a just society and a secure Jewish future, and we do so by collaborating with other communities. We endeavor to create consensus and empower our community on the tough issues that impact all of us, from racial justice to reproductive freedom to economic justice, and to being on the front lines for the fight for marriage equality that was supported right here in this beautiful building. I don't know if that child that I saw last week is here tonight, but I know my children are here, and I know other children are here. So to them and to all of us, I say that this is the place, and the people we heard from are the people who should inspire us all to pursue justice and to work for the betterment of our entire community. Thank you for celebrating our broad and diverse community here tonight. Thank you to our hosts, the host committee, our emcees, our speakers, our beautiful singers, the artists we heard from, to JCRC Public Affairs and Civic Engagement Manager Joe Goldman, and to you all for being here tonight. Next month, on June 14th across the street, JCRC will be celebrating the retirement of our Executive Director, Rabbi Doug Kahn, and also celebrating the passing of our baton to our incoming Executive Director, Abby Michelson IV. Please join us for the celebration. But in the meantime, please join us to review the new PhotoVoice project exhibition, Bay Area Jewish Life, and for light refreshments provided by Wise Sons Deli and a kosher option from L'Chaim Foods in the North Light Court. Thank you very much and good night.